Today we're going to do a brief playthrough of Military Madness, a gem that has been collecting dust in my collection for quite a few years. I originally picked up this game when I worked at Video Game Exchange, and this one guy happened to just bring in a massive box of a Turbo Duo with the CD games, a bunch of Who cards, etc., and we couldn't take them in, so I gave him cash out of my pocket. I asked him how much he wanted for all the stuff. The number he gave me, I added 20 bucks to it. And at the time, it was worthless, but as a few years went by, everything in that box just escalated in value, and I eventually, unfortunately, sold it off. But I'm glad that I came back to emulation and was able to relive all these games. But here's Military Madness, and what's interesting about this game is it's pretty much a forerunner of Advanced Wars on the Game Boy systems. It's a turn-based strategy game, and one of the first things I'd like to mention is how many games do you know that have the manual, the instruction manual, right in the game itself? I mean, more games should do this. This is awesome. I can't tell you how many times that I've lost manuals, especially with games that are loose, like Nintendo cartridges. Hardly anybody kept the cardboard boxes. It wasn't like the Sega Genesis games, which had the nice plastic cases where the manuals were easy to keep in there. But of course later on they switched over to the cardboard boxes like Nintendo, and those are rare boxes. And PS4, PS3 and all those, they had the manuals in them. But nowadays I'm noticing the trend that many games don't even have manuals anymore. You literally just go get them digitally. They don't even want to waste the time printing them out anymore. Anyways, I'm going to start the game. And this does have a good two-player mode, by the way. So the general idea is that I have my units, I have tanks, infantrymen, and I have my base on the left. I'm blue. And the units on the right have the same. They're green. And we have the terrain advantage, which would be to my advantage or theirs. And we have the ability to shift, which would be move to different proximities on the map. Attack, which would be attack enemies. Guide would show me my stats of any specific unit I want to look at. And then I can end my turn. We're going to start out here, and I'm going to move my tank over here. I'm going to move my infantrymen. And move one of my other tanks. In the later levels, you don't want to just take your entire unit set over to the right, because you can quickly become overwhelmed, and lose your units, and you need to be able to get back to your base or recover units to be able to heal and such. It gets pretty technical. But they also released a really nifty remake of this, kind of a reboot on PS3, and I downloaded it and I played the hell out of it. I really loved it. And I'm kind of hoping they put it on PS4 eventually too. It was just a fun game. And there's various versions of this released on different systems, but they're in Japanese, so they're a little bit more difficult to play. But the game is called Neo Nectaris, if you're looking for the foreign version of it. But anyways, I'm going to end my turn for now and just see what happens. And I'm liking this Friday the 13th Nightmare on Elm Street style music. You look at the top there. The units are pretty evenly matched right now, so it's kind of just a luck of the draw. It's a little bit like Risk, where you kind of have like a hidden dice system rolling in the background. They have an advantage over me here due to their terrain. They're up a little bit higher. They ended their turn. Let's see what we can do here. And one thing that's interesting about this is you could actually add a little buff to your characters if you kind of get a few units in close proximity, say like to the top left, directly to the left, and the bottom left, and then you get a buff on your character. And since I'm on the roadway with a tank, I can't exactly move down the side of a mountain like I could with an infantryman, so I'm kind of stuck where I'm at for now. But I'm going to try and move my infantrymen up here and see what happens. And I'm going to move my tank back just to try to get them to move forward on me. I'm going to pretty much call their bluff. And I'm going to end my turn and see what happens. they're most likely going to attack me. And I have two characters in close proximity, so I get a little defense advantage here. But since I'm infantryman and the tanks have the strength advantage over me, the attack advantage, I kind of got wasted there. Okay, what do I have here? So right now, I have the little buff here, where I have my tank to the bottom left, and my infantrymen to the top left. I have 2 Charlies and 8 tanks. They have 8 tanks, so I'm probably gonna get my Charlies wiped out if I use them, but I'm gonna use them as a buff and use my tank for an attack. And I get my little buff to my attack and defense. Not too bad. I could use a little more than that. Now I have my advantage here again. I have 2 in close proximity, so I'm going to do an attack. I'll get my nice little buff with a 5% terrain effect, and that really helped to my advantage there. It's always good to surround the enemy, then attack. Don't try to solo them. So I'm just going to end my turn and let the enemy come forth and just get bombarded by my little buff of defense right there. So I'm going to end my turn. And I have my little defense advantage here. Now I'm going to need to back that tank out because it's going to get taken out. Their defense ability is pretty low though, 32 compared to my 280. They ended their turn, so I'm looking at my tanks here. I have 3 tanks there, 5 tanks there, 4 tanks here. I should be able to take out the infantrymen and have the advantage over them. I'm going to do the attack with my 4 bisons. We'll see what my buff is. I got a little bit of attack power here. I should be able to annihilate these pretty easily. Yep. Attack goes a long way. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use my buff advantage to take out these Charlies here. And I got my attack advantage again. And that was a bust. Again, it's a lot like Risk, where you have the dice system in the background, so it doesn't always necessarily work to your advantage. So I'm going to take a gamble here, and I'm going to try to take the tank out here with my buff. And I'm a little bit out of practice. I need to get used to this again. It's the first level. I mean, I should have gotten to the first level quite a bit more easily than this. So I'm going to end my turn. Of course, they're likely to attack me. But I have my little defense buff here. Should help me out. And there we go. They made a bad move trying to attack me with their... I have my buff again. Their defense is pretty low. So I'm getting close to cleaning up shop here. Let's see what I have left. They have 1 Charlie, 1 tank. I'm going to take out their Charlie first. This should be very easy. 1 little measly guy versus my 4 tanks. No challenge there. And that music's playing to my advantage now. It's basically positive music. So I have 3 tanks, 2 tanks, and I have my 5% terrain advantage. So I'm going to attack using that setup along with my buff and 5% terrain advantage. Now I just have a couple of Charlies to take out, and I can pretty much capture the enemy base. And I'm just gonna gamble on the attack and see what I can do. Try to whittle them down a little bit for my tanks. And that was a bust. I'm gonna bring in my other Charlies. And right now we're almost at a point where it's like checkmate in chess, where people are literally just going to keep moving back and forth knowing they really have no good move. This guy is going to lose no matter what at this point. So he's more or less just going to move around. I mean, I doubt he'll try attacking me. But once I get my second set of Charlies in there, it's game over for this guy. This is a really fun two-player game, like I said. So I have my buff here with my two Charlies, one in the top left, one in the bottom left. And I'm going to go for the attack here with my little 5% terrain advantage. So I got my nice little buff to the attack power. And I'm whittling these guys down to nothing. I'll be able to capture the base in no time. I already have my tank on the base, so the moment these Charlies are done, that's it for them. Every bit counts. I got 3 guys left to go. And I can't quite get my tank in there. I just have to end the turn and let my Charlies take care of business. Guy's not putting much of a fight, but as you get into later levels, it becomes really interesting. So I have 2 Charlies and 8 Charlies. I'm going to use my 8 Charlies to do the final attack here. This should be a clear-cut win right here. Well, the next attack should do the trick. Can my 2 guys take out their 2 guys? Let's see. 1 guy left. Gonna end my turn. Like I said, I'm a little rusty at this. I should have had this level cleared a lot faster. But such is what makes these type of games so fun. My 8 Charlies, my 2 Charlies, I'm going to use my 8 Charlies and my buff to finish this level. This should be it. 1 guy. I got this level down. Anyways, that was me sucking at the first level of Military Madness after having not played it for about 3 or 4 years. But it's making me want to go back and go through this game again. It's a really fun game on Turbografx-16. Make sure you check it out if you really love the advanced works for Game Boy Advance. Hope you enjoyed the video.